Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is BZMT. So I'll be showing you how I made this turtleneck collar. So to start off, you will need to know the neckline you're working with. So this is a requested video by a subscriber. So for this, I already had the neckline cut out a little bit wider than 3.5 inches before the request from the subscriber. So to start off, you're going to measure the front and the back. You'll be placing it this way and you take the measurement of the front and the back neckline. So I'll be starting up with this paper. I'm going to be marking the measurement here. So I'll start off by rolling a horizontal line this way, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is to place a vertical line this way. So these lines are going to serve as a guide. So at the beginning of the line here, I'll be placing my tape this way to mark the front neckline. So the front neckline I'm working with is 5.5 inches, and I'm going to impute center front, and this marking here will be the shoulder. So from here, I'll be going upwards by 1 inch at the center front. So I'll mark 1 inch here, and with my curve, I'm going to connect it back to where the 5.5 ends. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to place the back measurement. So at this point here, I'm going to place 4 inches. So this 4 inches is for the center back. So if you want your zipper to get up to your collar, you'll be adding your zipper allowance. But for mine, my zipper is not going to get up to the collar. So I'm going to label here center back. So the next thing now is to determine the height of the collar. So I'll be making use of 1.5 inches. So at this point here, I'll mark 1.5 inches. And the next thing I'm going to do also is to create a line this way. And I'll also mark 1.5 inches. I'll mark 1.5 inches here also. And I'll connect with a horizontal line this way. So for the front, I'll be marking 1.5 inches also, but the front will not be as straight as the center back. So at this point, I'll come up by 1.5 inches, and at that 1.5 inches, I'll be going inwards by 0.5 inches. So you can use 0.5 inches or 0.75 inches. So I'll mark my 0.5 inches here, and the next thing I'm going to do is to create an angle this way. So from this point here, the next thing I will do is to create my curve. So I'm going to go up by 1.5. I'll do that again here, and I'll connect. So after connecting, I'm going to take my measurement, just cross-checking to see if I have the same neck measurement. So I'll be taking my allowance round the collar. So at the center front here, because it's going to be on fold, I wouldn't be adding any allowance. So after adding the allowances, I'm going to indicate that this should be cut on fold. So with this here, I would know when I want to cut that the center front should be on fold when I'm cutting on the fabric. So after cutting, this is how it looks like. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to transfer this on my fabric. So I have my fabric here and it's folded into 4. So because I want to cut 2 panels together, that's why I folded it into 4. So you'll be placing it this way, making sure that the center front sits properly on the fabric. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut this out. So I'll be holding it down with a pin before cutting out. So after cutting out the 2 pieces, I went ahead to add a visible interfacing on one of the panels. So this is how it looks like. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to introduce the button loop. So I have these straps which I'll be using as my button loop. So I'm going to fold both of them this way to form a button loop, and I'll place them in between. So the next thing I'll do after placing my button loop is to place this other panel right side facing the right side of this panel. Now you're going to sew this way, up here, and this way. So you're going to leave here open. So this is the place we're going to be attaching to the top. So after sewing, this is how it turned out. I also went ahead to iron in the sewing allowance on both panels. So to attach the collar, So I'm going to take the collar, I'll place the neckline in between the collar this way. So I'm going to hold it down with a pin. So after holding it down with a pin, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and sew it to secure it. So this is the final outcome of the collar. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching.